Bunmi, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I've been trying to reach out to you, but don't mind me. I will do that maybe
Yeah.
tonight. Anyway, so you are welcome to this session. So with us tonight are incoming students of Hagital, and we just want you to come and share your experience with them because a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, actually, you attended a webinar like this, and less than 2 years actually down the line, you are doing great things in the field of tech. So for those who are listening, Bunmi is a lawyer turned cloud engineer. So let me allow you to introduce yourself. So introduce yourself to us, who you used to be and who you are right now. So over to you, Bunmi. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Pastor Yomi has said, I wear many hats, right? I'm a lawyer by profession, but I would like to start my story like this. I think 2 years ago, that should be 2022. Yeah, 2022 thereabouts. I had the urge, right? I just had my baby, my second child, and then I was at home, right? And during that period, I was like, I needed to at least learn a skill, right? So because that period I had the time, right? My baby was around 6 months old then. And then I stumbled on these adverts on Instagram and I'm like, okay, that was Hagital. And I was like, okay, let me give this training a try. Even previously before then, I've been in the tech space, into content marketing, social media um space, right? So I had a bit of knowledge about what the tech space looks like and then what you should um have an idea about as well. But the cloud space itself, I had to do my own research, right? And then when I stumbled upon this adverts, which was Agital training, I was like, okay, I think I should give this a try, right? And then I did that. And the 6 months has been super amazing at that point in time. I was trained by Mr. Raphael Gabmomo, which was one of the best, is one of the best trainers that you could ever ask for, right? So it's been an amazing journey. During this period, I was able to clear about 3 certifications, writing AZ 104, right? Sitting for Solutions Architect examination, and currently I just passed the Certified Kubernetes Administration examination. So, like I always tell people, right, and it's always the learning journey. You cannot stop. You just have to keep on learning, right? And trust me, it will always pay off. That's one thing about the cloud space and tech in general. If you know your onions, if you are trained properly, right? Attend a training boot camp that would give you the foundation that you need in this space. And I mean, the sky is a starting point. And for my own story, right, it was a journey of resilience because, you will face challenges, you would feel overwhelmed, but it's just your own personal conviction saying, yes, I can push through this. And in Agital, we have this career session where we have trainers who would, hold you by the hand and ensure that they push you through this period, because there's sometimes when you feel down, but when you are in the midst of people with like minds, right? When you're in the midst of people with like minds, you will definitely want to propel. You will definitely want to propel in this space, right? So it's a journey of, always ensuring that you give it your best and then you attend classes. Trust me, the trainings are super amazing, right? You meet like minds of
Mm.
set of people that would also propel you forward, right? So Agital is it's a training ground. It's a place where you can actually learn, right? Learn, grow,
Yeah.
mistakes, troubleshoot your mistakes, and then you keep on, and keep on moving.
So we still come to that, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay,
I can.
so I think we'll just take the question one at a time. So my next question is, what made you to register for the training then? After the webinar, what informed that decision? Because they are listening to me right now, and We are just saying, oh, you can break into tech, you can do this, you can do that. So what inspired that decision then to register for the training?
Okay, in all honesty, as at that time, I was
Yeah.
skeptical. When I
Mm,
joined the training, like, is this legit? Right? Because we
mm,
have a lot of trainings. If you go to Instagram, especially maybe when you're looking for trainings, there's this
mm.
I will always bring trainings. If it is trainings you are looking for, right? There's this there's this there's this the way Instagram is, it will always bring you the
Of
algorithms,
course. Yeah.
and training. So you will definitely get to see a lot of training institutes, e-learnings, right? But what actually made me to register with Hagital at that time was, number one, I did my own research, right? And
Mm,
then the trainers, I also saw that we're going to be having, sound trainers. So I went back to LinkedIn and I said, who are those that are going to be training us? Raphael
mm,
Gabmomo, Katrine, right? Katrina. So I read their profile and I said, okay, yeah, I think I can give this a try, right?
mm.
So that was at that time.
Okay, so you look at the profiles then. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the training, because as at the time you attended the training, then we had not even started many of the things we do at the moment, but even like our training has improved over the years. But let's even start with that time before we now talk about now. Right. So let's even
Yeah.
talk about the training you attended then, which in my view is not even up to what we offer now. So how did that training go? Let's look at it from the angle of people who don't have a tech background. You are a lawyer and now you're into cloud engineering. So what made the program easy for people without a tech background, and how was the program generally? That's 6 months of the training. So can you just walk us through your experience as a student then?
As a student. Okay,
Yeah,
so at that time, right?
yeah.
Training was actually, when they say that you break down things into smaller bits. That's just the way
Mm,
right? So our trainers at that time broke down this big concepts. I would term it big concepts, right? In terms like Kubernetes, terms like storage, what is networking, breaking down these big words into tiny bits so that we can understand, breaking them down into layman language, right? Layman's language, or whatever they call it, right? So
mm,
that you, and that was what our trainer did then. And the classes were always interesting because we had a very interesting trainer at that time, right? So the classes were so interesting, and it was a very wonderful experience, I must say, right? And one thing about our trainers at that time is that if you don't do your projects, the way it's going to come after you, right? It's just like our trainer, at that time, held our hands one after the other. Say you must succeed. If you don't, you must succeed. You don't have a choice. You must succeed. You must succeed in this life, right? So that was how the training was, and that was how I was actually able to, cope till the end of that particular training. So that was it.
okay. So let's look at another angle. So when we say if you don't have a tech background, you can do cloud.
Mm.
From your own experience and the experience of people in the class, what can you say about that? Is it really true that literate, somebody that didn't do programming, is it really true? Right? Before we even come to talk about the work you are doing in cloud, is it true?
Mm.
Over to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I would not want to go straight forward and say, yes, it is true that you don't need
Mm,
any experience, right? But
mm,
the basic thing that you need to know is to at least be able to read and understand. You can write, right? You can write and you can understand what you're writing as well. So the foundation of cloud computing During the training, we're going to be walking you through the foundation. So you coming to the cloud, sometimes they will say, oh, you need coding background, you need to be a software engineer. I am a lawyer by profession, right? So how did I transition? Like currently, I would say this, even where I work currently, right? You see, you don't need to know everything about the cloud. It is your determination, right? It is your determination to say, I want to learn this. Monitoring. I want to be very good at monitoring, right? Monitoring virtual machines and servers and maybe databases. You want to know this very well. Yes, right? So really, you don't need what do I put it now? You don't need to be, let's say, a tech savvy person before you can learn cloud computing. Anybody can learn cloud computing. Anybody can learn it. So far you put your mind to it, so far you have the best tutors who can walk you through the process. That is it. That is the starting point.
Okay. So now let's talk a little about yourself. So how did you get your first job in the cloud? Can you just tell us the process, and we can now talk about subsequent jobs you have gotten. So over to you.
Miss call just came in. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So as regards the my first job in the cloud, right?
Yeah.
Is I think my first job in the cloud was working with Tech Expert Nigeria. Tech Expert is an international organization. So I always see Tech Expert as a place, it's like a school where you carry your school bag and then you say, I am going to school, right? It's a training ground. It's a training ground where they groom you. They give you they train you apart from you coming taking the boot camp. They also train you through the process, especially when you come in as an Azure engineer, right? They train you through the process. And one thing about that organization is once you leave that place, you become better, right? A better version of yourself. That's one thing. So that was my first job in the cloud, right? So should I go on with the other job?
Of course, why not? Why not? Just walk us through your journey, what you have done since
Okay.
after the training. Yeah, on and on. Yeah.
Yeah. On and on, I hope, but so currently I work with a US company. I don't want to give the name. So I work
Yeah.
as cloud systems architect, more or less like a solutions architect, right? So basically what we do is that like I always say, like I mentioned, you don't really have to know everything. So once you have, see, the most important thing is that you have an idea. For currently, there's a project that I was supposed to that I'm working on currently, which is to do what? To mount EFS EFS file share on a particular server, right? So if you have knowledge, say, oh, I've been taught how to what? Mount EFS on a server, right? And I can, what is EFS? Elastic File Share in AWS. They use it to, they use that particular file share. Different servers, let's say different computers, right, can access that same file share. They can read into it, they can write into it. What is read and write? Reading means that you view. It's just like having a README. You can view, but you cannot make changes. You can also write, meaning that you can save documents within that file. Now imagine different machines, different servers having the same access to that particular EFS. So all you need to know is to have an idea. So once you have an idea, you can now go ahead and do what? Do your own personal research. Do your own personal, and then within that particular job, they also walk you through. So this is one of the experiences that I also have on the job. So like I always say, in the training, take the training seriously. When you take the training seriously on the job, it will be much more easier for you on the job. Number one, because you already have hands-on experience, which we do in Hagital. You have hands-on experience doing this. And then when you get on the job, say, I've done this before now, right? So you can actually implement what you have been taught in class. So that's what I currently do. I design their architecture, and then I say, okay, this is good, this is good. Let's follow the DevOps culture, right? And using Terraform and Kubernetes to do a host of other things. So that's what I currently do also as well. So I think that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll just ask one final question, right? So when you started working with this US company, did you have a form of imposter syndrome, like, what I already know, will I be able to do this job? You know why I said so? This evening, Mr. Raf sent me some charts. So some of our students, they got interview with this US company thing, and the guy didn't go for the interview. He had got like 2 interviews now, but he didn't show up. So they now asked him, why didn't you show up for the interview? So he said he's afraid. And I told Mr. Raf that, okay, if you go to the interview and they ask you a question and you don't know it, will they send the FBI to come and arrest you? Will they send the FBI to arrest you and bring you to the US? So, but in your own case now, you started the job. So, did you have imposter syndrome? Like, will I be able to? I just started Cloudo and this US company now, I need to do this work. So, I just want to hear from you in that area as my last question. And if you had it, how were you able to overcome it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone like we're all different, right?
Mm.
Someone like me, I don't take, like, I always go for it. That's one thing about me. So everybody has imposter syndrome, at least to an
Yeah.
extent, right? To get to a point like,
Mm.
right, should I just fall back to my law career, and so all the kind of feelings and those mindsets will come, right? So how was I able to overcome this syndrome? Shall I go in maybe during the interview process? Number one thing I was able to do, right, was to communicate effectively. You don't have to know all the questions. Communicate effectively, right? Once they see that your communication, because you see, with these companies, especially during meetings, stand-up meetings, right, and all those one-on-one meetings, they want how confident you are, right? On the job, communicate very well, right? So that's one thing that I was able to actually overcome this imposter syndrome, right? So it's something that technical interview questions, and no, yes, you meet all those ones, but you see the communication skills is very important. So once you're able to wow them with your speech and whatnot, everything about cloud and all that, right, you're good. So that's my own coping, I would say, coping that kind of syndrome. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, Bunmi, thank you very much for your time tonight and for coming to share your story with us. It has been very enlightening and informative, and we'll get to talk, right? I'll reach out to you. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.